Hello everybody, welcome to your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. I hope you guys are having a great Saturday as it is really hot outside here in Minnesota. Those temperatures in the upper 80s to lower 90s. We're currently sitting at 91 degrees here in St. Paul under partly cloudy skies. The humidity is off the chain. Those dew points are in the 60s and there are thunderstorms in the forecast as well. Let's talk about how many other folks might be looking at some thunderstorms as well for your Saturday afternoon and through the remainder of this weekend. So let's jump through to our current radar and overlay map here, as we're going to be looking at some thunderstorms scattered across the Midwest from the Gulf Coast and the South and through the high plains, through the Rockies. And we're going to be seeing some of those thunderstorms through the upper Midwest, through the states of Minnesota, parts of North and South Dakota, Iowa, and into Nebraska. We're also seeing thunderstorms through the eastern Great Lakes and the mid-Atlantic states as well. There are several areas that are dealing with some severe thunderstorms as well. We have some severe thunderstorm watches in place as we are dealing with some summertime heat through the Midwest and through the northern plains, with those temperatures in the upper 80s to lower 90s, coupled with relatively high dew points in the 60s. So it is starting to get kind of sticky out there. So let's take a look at those current temperatures across the country. Look at where it's really warm into the Great Lakes and through the Midwest and the northern plains. Look at those upper 80s and 90s. It's very warm, a little bit on the sticky side as well. So we're starting to get that heat and humidity. But I want to take note of how pleasant it is in the desert Southwest. We have troughing over the western half of the country, so it's keeping things rather comfortable across the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies through the state of California and Nevada. But what's interesting is typically in Arizona, we would see those temperatures well over 100 through the Phoenix area, and we're only looking at mid-90s in Phoenix and low to mid-90s across the Las Vegas area as well. So a little bit cooler out west, but much warmer out in the east. It's still technically spring. We are still a couple of weeks from the summer, the start of summer, but we're already seeing very warm weather across the Great Lakes and the Mid-Atlantic and into the upper Midwest as well. Is that a sign of El Nino? Remains to be seen. So let's move on to our next map. This is the dew points, and we're looking at it being very dry across the west, very low dew points. That is going to mean very comfortable temperatures. This is where you want to get your swamp coolers running if you're in the desert Southwest, because it's going to be quite nice out there. But it gets a bit more humid here from the southern plains and the Gulf Coast of Texas, Louisiana. A little bit cool, a little bit less humidity across the southeast. But we are seeing that higher dew points here from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and we are seeing those higher dew points. A little bit higher dew points through Minnesota and the North South Dakota. We're right about that 60-degree dew points in those upper 50s. But if you go down through the central and southern plains, those dew points get a little bit higher and maybe start to approach that 70-degree point. But we are looking at those dew point temperatures a bit cooler, a little bit lower here through the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast as well. Those dew points are in the 30s to 40s. That's very comfortable for this time of the year. And again, very comfortable across the western United States. But it still feels a little bit sticky outside in my neck of the woods in Minnesota. And as far as thunderstorms, we can see thunderstorms into the northeast. We can see some thunderstorms this afternoon. And again, thunderstorms across the plains. So the high plains of Montana, western North and western South Dakota, eastern Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and north central Texas is where we could see some severe thunderstorms that were a more organized severe threat. Everybody else has a random outside chance of maybe a marginally severe thunderstorm. If there anywhere we could see tornadoes, it's going to be down here across north central Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, to the west of Dallas, Fort Worth. So Fort Stockton, Texas, Abilene, Texas, we can see maybe Midland, Odessa as well, could see that possibility of a severe thunderstorm this afternoon. And look at the thunderstorms that are actually in play right now, Oklahoma and Texas. Look at these storms across eastern Texas, eastern Dallas, Fort Worth, right at Louisiana, our western Arkansas, the Ozarks, and through parts of Nebraska and into Kansas. We see a nice line of severe thunderstorms. We also have a cluster of severe storms here through parts of the mid-Atlantic, so Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, eastern Indiana, southern Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. We can see those thunderstorms, and we're also seeing thunderstorms through Wisconsin, Minnesota, and storms in North and South Dakota. Check out the storms up in southern Canada. So Calgary and Edmonton, we're seeing some thunderstorms as well, and there's also some storms there through central Montana. We're seeing storms through parts of Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, as well as northern Nevada. So we're definitely starting to see a lot of thunderstorm activity out there across the United States. And here we are with the look for our watches and warnings. This is where we have our severe thunderstorm watches in place. Some folks seeing some severe thunderstorms down here across the Mid-South and across Louisiana and eastern Texas is where we're seeing those severe storms currently at this time. And here's our severe thunderstorm outlook for today, our categorical outlook. We expect to see our higher chance for severe thunderstorms down across southwestern Texas. This is where Laredo, Texas, and Del Rio, Texas, and the Rio Grande River Valley, where we could see our potential for severe weather. And those primary threat is going to be some damaging winds and some heavy rainfall. And we can see our marginal threat for severe thunderstorms. West Texas, the Gulf Coast in the southern Louisiana and eastern Texas, and we have the potential for marginally severe thunderstorms across the mid-Atlantic states this afternoon, and we're going to be seeing those severe thunderstorms take place over parts of the southeast down through northern Georgia, northern Alabama, as well as central Tennessee. We could see those severe thunderstorms tomorrow. We have to talk about a weakening tropical system, Tropical Depression Arlene, and that is down here over the southern Gulf of Mexico, just north of Cuba, right there, and it is currently weakening at this time. As you can see, this is the remnants of Tropical Depression Arlene, and it's going to be spreading those rain showers and thunderstorms across parts of Florida, but that is going to mostly remain out to sea right now and spin around, eventually dissipate. It may cross the southern tip of Florida and into the Atlantic, but I don't expect further development at this time for that system, even if it crosses into the Atlantic, because of the high amount of wind shear in the area. Tropical systems do not get along with wind shear. And we're going to be looking at that severe thunderstorm threat this afternoon here across Texas. Again, we're going to be looking at that severe threat, Texas, Louisiana, and again across the mid-Atlantic states. We're going to be seeing that severe weather threat. And our rainfall potential here is where we could be seeing those higher rainfall amounts through parts of Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma is where we could see the potential for 1 to 2 inches of rain. We could see possibly 2 to 3 inches of rain from thunderstorms in the Denver area and Pueblo, Colorado. So if you're in north central Colorado, you could see flash flooding potential for some heavier rainfall amounts. And again, in the northeast, we're going to be seeing those temperatures warm up here across the Ohio Valley, but cooler in the New England states, so Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, eastern upstate New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island. We're going to be seeing it cooler below the about 10 to 20 degrees, up to 20 to 30 degrees below average for this time of the year. So lower dew points, lower temperatures, all around very nice weather across the northeast. But we will have some rainfall associated with those cooler temperatures where we could pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain into parts of Maine through Monday. All right, that was your weather forecast for your week.